Analytical, intensely honest, and slightly provocative. You've been lied to about success. You chase the 1% lifestyle, but you never hear about the hidden price of that ambition. The truly successful aren't just working hard, they're often operating with a set of toxic mindsets they mistake for strength. These aren't just bad habits, they are the same traits quietly destroying their relationships, their health, and their chance at genuine happiness. This video is the warning sign you didn't know you needed. We're going deep into the 5 toxic traits of high performers. By the end of this, you'll be able to spot the difference between healthy discipline and the self-sabotage that will eventually leave you burnt out, isolated, and miserable. Starting with the most destructive belief of all, the more is better delusion. Analytical, intensely honest, and slightly provocative. The more is better delusion. The high performer's brain has one fundamental flaw. It equates input with value. They don't just work hard, they're addicted to the feeling of being busy. They can't relax because, to them, relaxation means a loss of value. You start believing that your self-worth is directly proportional to the number of tasks you complete, the length of your to-do list, or the hour you log off at night. This isn't productivity, it's a dopamine addiction to motion. When you're busy, your brain releases those feel-good chemicals, tricking you into thinking you're being effective. But you're not. You're confusing activity with achievement. High performers often use a long work week as a shield. They can proudly declare, "I'm working 80 hours a week," and avoid the crucial, uncomfortable question, what is the single most valuable thing I should be doing? Instead of prioritizing, they fill every second with busy work, answering every email, sitting through unnecessary meetings, taking on low-impact projects. They are constantly running, but only in circles. Stop rewarding effort. Start rewarding leverage. The goal is not to fill your day. The goal is to create the largest possible result with the fewest possible actions. Analytical, intensely honest, and slightly provocative. 2. The imposter syndrome trap. This is the classic paradox of the high achiever. They have reached the pinnacle of their field, yet they are convinced it was all a cosmic mistake. They look around and think, they're going to find out I don't belong here. This chronic fear of exposure is not a sign of humility. It's a performance inhibitor. Instead of owning their success, they double down on work, believing that over-preparation is the only thing standing between them and humiliation. This cycle is a self-fulfilling prophecy. They succeed because they overwork, which reinforces the belief that they only succeed because they work harder than everyone else, not because they are genuinely capable. The imposter syndrome trap leads to an inability to receive feedback or delegation effectively. A compliment feels like a setup. Asking for help feels like admitting the fraud. But the true danger of imposter syndrome isn't self-doubt. It's the one deadly secret you carry into every meeting and every project, your inability to rest. Because in your mind, the moment you stop running, the moment you take a vacation, the moment you relax, that's when the mask slips and the real you is revealed. You become a prisoner of your own perfection. Analytical, intensely honest, and slightly provocative. Number 3, the zero-sum relationship view. High performers often view time as a perfectly scarce resource, leading them to apply an economic principle to their personal life, the zero-sum game. In this worldview, time spent with family, friends, or a partner is not an investment. It is an opportunity cost. Every hour at your child's soccer game is an hour not spent advancing your career. Every dinner with your spouse is an hour lost to a potential deal. They rationalize it with the grand narrative. I'm doing this for them. But the people in their lives don't want a delayed payout of their time. They want their presence. The tragic consequence is that high performers eventually reach their goal. They achieve the success they dreamed of, only to look up and realize the very people they were building it for are no longer there, or they no longer know them. They trade connection for convenience and intimacy for influence. When the money runs out, you lose your house. When the relationships run out, you lose your soul. This zero-sum mindset is what makes our next trait, isolation perfectionism, so devastatingly effective. Because once you push people away, your brain has a new narrative to justify it. Analytical, intensely honest, and slightly provocative. 4. The isolation perfectionism loop. Perfectionism is usually hailed as a virtue, but chronic perfectionism is actually a defense mechanism. High performers don't seek to make things great. They seek to make them criticism-proof. This leads directly to isolation perfectionism. Because they believe the standard of criticism-proof is impossible for anyone else to meet, they refuse to delegate. They become the bottleneck of their own success. It's faster if I just do it myself. I'll have to fix it anyway. No one else understands the vision. This is a subtle form of arrogance where the high performer takes ownership of the entire team's failure just to maintain the illusion of control. They are trapped by the very excellence they aspire to. They refuse help, they burn the midnight oil, and they resent the team they refuse to trust. Embrace the 80% rule. Delegate the task when someone else can achieve 80% of the result you would. The 20% difference is a minor loss in quality, but a massive gain in time, sanity, and team trust. Analytical, intensely honest, and slightly provocative. 5. The chronic future focus. Think about the feeling you get when you achieve a major goal. It's a rush, right? Now, how long does that rush last? A day? Maybe 2? This is the hedonic treadmill in action. Your brain is a master of adaptation. It quickly categorizes new success, new wealth, or new achievement as the new normal. It wipes the slate clean and demands the next dopamine hit. High performers are notoriously prone to this. They live in a state of chronic future focus. They are constantly mapping out the next mountain before they have enjoyed the view from the one they just climbed. I'll be happy when I hit 7 figures. They hit 7 figures. I'll be happy when I get the promotion. They get the promotion. The goalpost is always moving, and you are never allowed to catch up. This lack of presence is the ultimate toxic trait, because if you never stop to enjoy the view, if you never allow yourself to acknowledge the now, you are essentially living your life in a perpetual state of longing. You're sacrificing today for a tomorrow that will feel just as empty as yesterday once you finally reach it. Analytical, intensely honest, and slightly provocative. So let's circle back to that deadly secret of imposter syndrome. The constant need to overwork, the refusal to delegate, the inability to rest. These are not traits of a genius. They are the traits of a fragile ego trying desperately to outrun its own shadow. You are not protecting your success. You are setting yourself up for burnout. And when you burn out, that's when your performance actually collapses, validating the very fear that you are an imposter. True success is not about maximizing output, it's about optimizing your energy. It's about moving from driving your life to steering it. The greatest leverage you have is knowing when to stop, when to trust, and when to simply be where you are. If this video made you realize that one of your most prized habits is actually a trap, then you understand the real challenge of the high performer. 1. Subscribe hook. We make videos to help you build a smarter, more strategic, and ultimately happier life. Hit that subscribe button now and join the conversation. 2. Comment hook. I want to know, which of these 5 toxic traits are you currently fighting against? Was it the isolation, perfectionism, or the chronic future focus? Let me know in the comments below. Let's start the discussion.